Good morning, Mr. Ilya. Welcome to CFO Success Partners Podcast. Thank you for making it this morning with us. I would appreciate if you can introduce yourself for the listeners, please.
Prasad, and thank you for inviting me. My name is Ilya Ilienko, and I am a CFO of Halen. It's a technology app company that's been around for a couple of years, and we're focused on transportation and revamping transportation and lifestyle approaches in terms of retail, shopping, food, deliveries, and of course, transportation. And we have a different business revenue share model. So that's a little bit about where I am now.
That's phenomenal. And I think after you moved from New York to South Carolina, I think partly because of stress, partly because of I think personal preferences, you joined a professional services firm, and the division you took from like 0 to 10 million, and at the same time kind of went from 3 people to 50 people. The question is, how do you decide to add capacity ahead of the revenue, and what's the tell that company has outgrown its systems?
Very good two-part question, and I'll tackle the staffing aspect of it.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that there's an easy way to explain it, but Webster Rogers, which was the public accounting advisory firm leading regional here in South Carolina, brought me on to start a division from scratch.
Correct.
So there's a lot of things that are involved with, myself meeting with the board, for example, of Webster Rogers, managing directors, on what platform we're going to use. There's a lot of minutia and detail that are involved. You have to get the firm license.
Yeah.
I had to go and do travel in order to learn for example, Sage Intact system, pass their certification exams. Then we had to partner up with another company who was much further ahead so we can see how they do things. Initially, it was, a team of myself because I was preparing myself to take the governance role,
Correct.
working with the managing directors. Then we partnered with another firm that was further ahead. And initially we observed, so there wasn't initially a need for staff.
Correct.
Then very quickly, from looking at how implementations and engagements are done to actually doing them ourselves. And I was the lead on it.
Yeah.
So the way I would manage those resources is that I would have several associates assigned to me whose capacity was lowered so they can help me more on the full-time basis.
Correct.
And as we saw that this engagement needs more staffing, or there's a possibility of signing on a new large client and we may need more associates, we would begin to bring them in internally on a part-time basis and then evolve them into full-scale,
full-time equivalent,
full-time roles within this division that I started, build brand identity. We were doing heavy marketing in terms of going to conferences and doing a lot of outreach from the marketing perspective. And as that marketing perspective started getting traction, we were also seeing and sensing what is coming down the pipeline and how many associates we may need. We always let the business drive the needs of the personnel. So we don't hire personnel and then say we're going to do all these things. We gauge if they're going to work first, and then we start adding capacity.
It's almost like zoom in, zoom out on a continuous basis, right? At any given point of time, you're looking at a few months ahead versus what was the utilization of the team like past few weeks. It's almost on a real-time basis. You have to zoom in, zoom out on a continuous basis. Very interesting and very challenging, and pretty challenging.
A lot of moving parts.
Yeah. Moving on to the next part, Ilya, on our call, you said that if the leadership doesn't have the right team or the bandwidth, they're kind of stuck in the weeds and they can't drive the strategy or growth. Where have you watched that kind of impact most painfully?
This comes from a lot of experience and working in senior positions. I can give you a number of examples, but the public accounting firm and the next following company, the tax strategy consulting firm, where we also went from 2-3 employees to 25 and more, and went from zero revenue to close to 30 million in a span of a couple of years.
Yeah.
Going back to the question, what is very important is founder or owner or managing director or the board, whoever is in the position of governance, for them to have a buy-in into the process. So in other words, they were at the public accounting firm, there were 16 to 20 partners.
Yeah.
And they all lead different offices. And if we're going to be scaling this implementation division business line to multiple offices, all of these partners in different offices have to agree how things are done.
Correct.
But partners are usually a little bit older. They're not tech savvy.
Yeah.
They are in their own function, for example, tag or audit. So they don't know about systems implementations. It's very, very challenging to get buy-in. And if that buy-in doesn't exist, then the whole thing will fall apart, because
Correct.
the partners in the end are going to be the ones that are going to have to okay everything and support this endeavor, and also encourage their associates, to work on the matters. So the challenge is bringing the real life perspective of what this will entail to get the partners to go with it, because initially we were at the headquarters and we were pushing it out.
Correct.
But the other offices, they can be resistant. They may say, hey, we don't really need this. We have money coming in from other functions. We don't want this. That's where the dynamic, it becomes very, very challenging. At the tax strategy firm, multiple founders. One really likes his business line. He doesn't want to give it up. He doesn't want to do anything else. He doesn't have capacity. But we're trying to generate revenue from other sources. So we need his buy-in. That's where the friction and the challenges are, with the emotional, not IQ, but EQ aspect of the position.
100%. And change management is so difficult, right? I think regardless of the organization, regardless of the domain, and regardless of the type of change you're dealing with, I think it's so hard to manage the change across the organization. Yeah, absolutely. So when a finance leader is capacity strapped, capacity constrained, what should they delegate and elevate themselves? And what should never be delegated at all, regardless of how busy they be?
Well, I think that no matter what position you occupy, even if you are a sole founder of a company, you still don't work in a vacuum.
Yeah.
You may make strategic decisions and then have to bounce them off of other individuals, senior individuals in the company, but you never make strategic decisions in a vacuum.
Correct.
So if I'm managing a division and we get a sense of, so for example, cash flow can be a problem, and you get a sense that cash flow may be a problem in a couple of months by seeing the trend from week to week and kind of getting a sense. So in terms of capacity, if we are having, my number one priority always was clients.
Correct.
Serve the clients. Don't let the client know that you're having capacity issues or anything like that. Don't give them a sense that you're having difficulties. Nothing like that. Because that's how you make your sausage. No one needs to know how you make your sausage. Serve your clients. Make them feel like they're number one. And internally, you are strapped for people.
Yeah.
You may have so much work, and that's what has gone on. For example, in tax strategy firm and other places that I've been at.
Yeah.
And what we would do is we would take staff from billing, from receivables, from sales, and we would assign them part-time to my roles.
Correct.
To my team to support that capacity. Eventually, things are going to be dropped, such as budgeting is not going to be done on time. People may not have accurate or up-to-date data for budgeting or forecasting because they weren't able to get to preparing those things because they're focused on the client aspect of things.
Yeah.
And as those things start trickling down and you see that budgets were not prepared, forecasts were not prepared, it becomes apparent to your C-level peers that we need more capacity.
Correct.
And so that's one of the ways that we tackled it. It could be a whole episode between you and I on
Ilya. Moving on to your more recent role at Hallen. My question to you is board composition at an early stage company. What does a right board look like before you have scale? And what do founders often get wrong while assembling board of directors?
Great governance question. And I'm going to take a step back on this one. So, founders of smaller and medium sized companies who have brilliant ideas, whether it be in bookkeeping, software development, services such as Halen provides, which is transportation and other lifestyle, you know, conveniences. They may have great ideas, and those ideas could be just terrific.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they're focused on. They think that once they start posting on LinkedIn, that people are going to go crazy, that their idea is so good. So what they focus in on is improving their product
Correct.
and doing this same old day-to-day, post it on LinkedIn and do an email blast about their services. Founders don't really look at boards because the sense that I get is that a lot of founders think that we don't really need a board. What is that for? But the thing about the board is that it signals maturity. It signals next level competence. That's why we look to the next level of firms that provide services that we want to eventually provide.
Correct.
So, for example, for Halen, we look to Uber a little bit.
Yeah.
We look to Lyft. We look to Kayak a little bit.
Yeah.
We look at mature companies, how they do things. In order
Correct.
for us to signal to the market that we are serious and that we are ready, we may want to start building a board. The board could be just a few advisory executives initially.
Yeah.
That signals credibility, seriousness, and from there it can grow. So, for example, there are boards which can be focused on well-being in your company. You say, why? That will cut your insurance costs and
Correct.
employer benefit plan costs because
Correct.
now you're focusing on the well-being of your employees. So boards can serve different functions, which includes also cutting costs.
Moving to something which happened recently. 3 weeks ago, Strategy Finance published a conversation between yourself and two others on AI and the AI governance piece. What's your honest state of AI adoption in the finance right now?
I occupy a number of seats. So I see how things are done in academia, what the next coming in professional group that's going to be, graduating. I have that perspective of how academia handles AI. I have a perspective of how credentialing organizations and institutes view AI. And I have a perspective of actually using and deploying AI. And at the same time, beta testing platforms before other professionals get access to. So, for example, ChatGPT beta testing, Claude beta testing on my own. So I have a much deeper insight.
Yeah.
And to me, AI is revolutionary. It certainly has a lot of promise. But as with any technology, there's a technology growth curve. And Gartner is one of the ones that I mentioned, and I write about this. And my sense is that AI has a huge amount of promise. But as with any technology, it has to take time to settle. People have to understand what this technology is about and really have to find a place in the home where this can be of most benefit to different industries, different companies.
Yeah.
The time with this type of revolutionary technology, not enough time has yet passed. So to me, are in a very, very hype phase.
Correct.
Dust has to settle. There has to be more pilot programs, more use cases, because from very many conversations that I have with small and medium-sized businesses, they're gung-ho about AI, implementation, this and that, but the founders or the managing partners, they may not know, they may think it's straightforward. You buy a package AI, now everything works smoothly. No, there's integrations, there's workflows, there's a lot of front-end commitment into making these things work. So it's not as easy. But the street, Wall Street, and other places, they make you think that, AI, just get AI. You'll get agent, and everything will come together, and you're going to make so much more money. It's not as straightforward.
And people don't realize that this is also a change management issue. Ilya. People and companies and businesses have certain workflows for years together, whatever, whether they are effective, ineffective, efficient, inefficient, but that they're working in a way. And now introducing AI into those workflows is a change management issue more than the technology issue. I think that's something getting overlooked, I believe.
It's smart and it shows your insight beyond just the technical in the implementation. You hit it right on the head. It's change management, and that's where you encounter a huge resistance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Partners and managing directors, they want more revenue and they want to save money, but they don't want to deal with implementations and all of this
Absolutely.
stuff. They just get it done. But they need to buy in and understand a little bit of the process.
Yeah.
And then, as you rightly point out, all of the other functions and departments and people have to come on board
Correct.
and support this process because they are the ones doing the workflows day to day.
Absolutely. Moving to the last question, Ilya, what would you call as one thing that most mid-market finance leaders are overemphasizing right now? And another thing that they are badly underemphasizing.
As you move from the very initial stages of the founder level
Mhm.
firm, where you have maybe one partner or two founders, and they may have few part-time folks helping them out, or offshore teams
Mhm.
helping them out to get this startup off the ground. Very small team.
Mhm.
In that situation, I think they overemphasize getting things right, and they overemphasize the service or the product that they will deliver, because they think as soon as they let the product out of the bag, everyone will say, "Oh my God, you guys are so amazing." So they overemphasize the product and design of the product or design of services, and they underemphasize the proper outreach
Mm.
to inhabit spaces that will eventually soon lead to business. So
Correct.
it's a multi-pronged strategy. You have to work on your product and your business, structure and business line delivery, but at the same time, you have to generate exposure and awareness. And it doesn't bring results in immediately, but in the medium term, it provides great opportunities because now you are, for example, you can be part of associations, institutes, your firm can go to conferences, do outreach like that. So I think that founders go and they have meetings with Spark or Chamber of Commerce or BI,
Yeah.
but it's the same thing. They need to start underemphasizing the same ways of doing things,
Correct.
becoming more nuanced and focused by trying to penetrate the spaces where their clients would live.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal. So it's almost like you're borderline advising what's popularly known as build in public rather than building in a lab or a internal facing instrument.
Yes,
Very
there's
interesting.
a large element of that. You're very right.
Thank you so much, Ilya, for spending time this morning and distilling your 2.5, 3 decades of expertise and experience in very simplified conversation. I appreciate the time you spent this morning. Where can people find you and read more about what you do and what you publish, what you write on? Is that LinkedIn, Medium? Tell our viewers where they can find you more.
The best way to find me is either through the Institute of Management of Accountants. I am on their website and publications and global board. My name is mentioned. And of course, LinkedIn,
Mhm.
where I have a good, solid profile that showcases everything that I'm involved in. I don't have a firm
Yeah.
because I do long-term relationship engagements. I
Correct.
don't work on transactions. I
Correct.
partner up with the right people and the right companies that have promise, and then I only lead those engagements for a long duration. So similar
Yeah.
to Webster Rogers. That's how
Yeah.
the relationship was developed and lasted a few years.
Yeah.
Synergy Tax Consulting, 5 years.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I don't have a firm, and this is the reason for why my LinkedIn showcases everything that I get involved in. And it's easy to find me. I'm the only Ilya Ilienko MBA, CPA, CMA there.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, Ilya. I appreciate the time you spent this morning.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Prasad. And maybe we'll catch up again on one of the
Yeah.
more nuanced topics, such as governance or staffing, things like
Yeah.
that. But I really appreciate you picking on me and having this conversation with me.
Thank you so much, Ilya.